Assalamu alaikum. We'll see if this can get any. Right. So. Put this here. Alright. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna alhamdulillah wa kafah. Wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulih al-Mustafa. Wa ala ibadihi alladhina irtada. Wa man bihudahum ihtada. Wa bi'athari ahli al-Madinah iqtafa. Wa ba'd. Fasalamullahi alaykum, folks. Can you all hear me okay? Drink with your right hand. No, I will drink with my left. Can you all hear me okay? Right, you get me? People, this is all going out for you, the Halloween special. That was a special dedication to you guys, okay? Amira, great to see you online. Right, some questions already. Let's see, I'm thinking today's session should be done like this actually. Right, like something like that. Like, so what are the questions? Yeah, Yusuf, assalamu alaikum. Shukran, Rayhan. I thought I'm going to take this out. This is actually, the Maliki traditional Moroccan, the silham that they have. So, see, don't think I don't have these clothings, people. You know that. This is like when I want to feel like Batman and just, or like the Count Dracula. Anyway, right, so, do I give zakat on my... Shukran. What is my opinion concerning the Mu'tazila? Good question. Peer Saab is here. Peer Zada Saab. Jimmy Darcy. Allahu Akbar. Right. Actually, let me begin with some questions. I'm going to come to that question, Adam Harding. I've got your question. What is my opinion concerning the Mu'tazila? Okay. How tall are you? What a question. Not too, I think about 5'9" at most. That's it really. Where's your Halloween killer clown mask? This is it, people. This is it. Right, so, anyway, let's get down to business, people. Let's get down. Oh, dare I forget. This, folks. Just look at that. That's my walking cane. Alright, you gotta say that is super slick. Right, so now, do I even lift? I tried. Alright, now, how often do I go for a haircut? Probably every 2 weeks. I used to go every week, but then just get too busy actually. Right, now, okay, let's take some of these questions. I'm sure that cane's haram. Well, I don't think it's edible, Jimmy Pirzada Saab. I thought this cane was slick, actually. I saw this as a gadget. I thought, oh my god, that looks so slick. I have to get that. God, I tell you, it's so fun to be insane. What am I drinking? This is just actually one of those pink grapefruit squash, people. Just feeling thirsty, that's all. Anybody about to have a retarded moment? Right, this is my right hand, okay? It's the selfie camera, god damn it. How many times do I have to say that? Right, so, and Samsung it is, Safwan, Samsung it is. So, Maliki position on delaying prayers into Daruri time, like Asr time. Does this require Tawbah? No, if there's a reason. Watch my clip on Facebook about combining prayers for if you have some reason. Count Dracula, hell yeah. Shaitan drinks with the left hand. Right, so what's your thought on the North Dakota issue in America? You're going to have to elaborate a bit on that issue. I've been a bit preoccupied with my own stuff going on and UK stuff. You want a scholar? Oh, please, please, Muhammad Nabizada, can I be a scholar just for today, please, please? I even bought my magic Mufti cane with me. Look. This is when something's haram, I show this cane. Right, so the one fist of beard is wajib. Abs just throwing in his little, yeah, it's true, but you see, this is also a fist of a 2-year-old. Now, unless you're going to add a condition that the fist has to be of a particular age. Now, and then you got to show that from the hadith. Restriction on man's length of hair. Ammar, watch my my YouTube clip on called The Cutting Edge Perspective Part 2. Part 1 is about the beard. Part 2 is about the hair. It's on YouTube. Right, we should do dhikr. Inshallah, Native American land issue. Hell yeah, the Native... Assalamu alaikum, Rudy. How you doing? All the way from KSA. Right, now... the Native American issue, I'm not an expert on things like that. Like most people, I know that they've just been robbed and really just not only betrayed, but tyrannically oppressed, really, the whole treatment. And then they've just been kind of, they're just left as these drunk people out there, and they're not... that's just a distraction, whilst the Americans have really usurped all of their lands. So whatever rights they can get, they deserve, absolutely. Is the tasbih and dua after Jummah considered a bid'ah? I think it would be considered, it goes back to the same discussion on bid'atul hasana. You see, you're being cross-examined here. You can't even say anything. There's 2,000 people pointing a finger saying you're not on haqq. Allahu Akbar. The good thing I don't rely on those 2,000 people. Right, brother, you're a funny guy. Shukran, shukran. I've seen we can longish beyond shoulders. Seen we can have it long though. I've seen we can have it long though. I've got no idea what you're talking about, Ammar. But it sounds quite, Well, how do I become a vampire? Allah. Imam Hassan of Gloucester. People, Imam Hassan doing some awesome work in Gloucester, some real ground, grassroots level work, helping the homeless, feeding people that are hungry, real true Islam embodied. Right, well, shukran, Abs, shukran. Please explain the hadith. We only have the 2 Eids as our festivals. I'm not sure what hadith we're talking about. What hadith are you talking about, Waqar? Is that the Moroccan cape thing, Gibran? Yes, it is. It's called the Silham. What's your view on student finance? I have explained before that my understanding of riba is that these things don't necessarily fit that bill. Okay. Are mermaids real? Well, isn't that an interesting question? Will you believe it that historically people had written, like in Kitab al-Hayawan, and in other books of creatures, they actually had included Insan al-Bahar, which is the human of the sea. So they had mermaids and then there was a discussion that could you eat them? And then there was a question about the mermaids, a little naughty one, about, well, if you take them out of the sea, what can you do with them? Honestly, these discussions are available in the books of fiqh. So, well, anyway, moving on. I don't know. Where's the killer clown mask, Maliki Sahib? Don't delete my comments. It is with sincerity. This is the best I can do, man. I've got my look. Yo. Is gold haram also for vampires? Allah. Vampires have no need for gold. Allah. Can we eat food of people of the book? Does it have to be halal certified? Muslims can have the meat of the people of the book. But I mean, the question is that people have asked me, do I consider countries like the UK to be Christian countries? I don't. Okay. I consider these countries, although ironically, the Queen is the head of the church and the head of state. But, I mean, she's the monarch and she's the head of church. But the people generally in the UK are not, I mean, I would assume they're more agnostic. Allahu A'lam. Is forex trading halal? I'm still trying to learn a bit more about that, Shalim. I don't think I know enough about it. Because I don't know. I don't know enough about it, that's all. 16 million household. No idea what you're talking about. But yeah, you just keep doing what you're doing. What do you think about the slandering by Ammar Nakshwani against Sahaba? I think it's absolutely pathetic, utterly disgusting. Any religion that teaches you hate and abuse is no religion at all. So, if for Ammar Nakshwani and other people like that, the other, what's his name, the Habib, anyway, right, if these kind of, you know, I'm sorry, but to me, they are nothing but just retarded Rafidis. People who, and I say that because how could you openly promote hatred towards such venerated figures of religion, even if you disagree with, like, you could disagree with another religion, and even if it is your own religion, Islam is not built, I mean, I hate to burst their bubble, but Islam is not built on the essential of the family of the Prophet and the politics around them and the history of what happened to them, whether that was good or bad or whatever, and our heart goes out to whatever tragedies occurred. But the thing is, Islam wasn't built on that. Islam was built on the concept of Tawheed and Risala. This is what this is what Islam was built upon. So for people to become obsessed over certain personalities within Islam, especially those who are extremely venerated by the outright majority, like 9 out of 10 Muslims in the world, highly venerate and respect these figures, for you to slander them, to kind of abuse them, to teach hatred about them, to curse the wives of the Prophet, to accuse that, to have no respect and to dishonor them by accusing them of being prostitutes and stuff like this. These people have no shame, and as far as I'm concerned, no faith would teach hatred like that. Okay, so I don't believe that these people have found God in their search. I don't know what it is that they found, but I don't believe that God would teach people to disrespect and dishonor people like that. Imam Hassan, I want to become a bearded Dracula. Allah. Opinion on Shaykh Muhammad al-Yaqoobi. What is this? Is this like some kind of sting operation going on? Hey, what's your opinion on Shaykh Muhammad al-Yaqoobi? He's a very respectable Shaykh of our age. Somebody I'm hoping will reflect more and more the voice of reason with time to come. I believe he is kind of starting to discuss these kind of discussions and to promote the voice of reason. I hope, inshallah, he continues to do things like that. I find sometimes that people who go into, you see, it's with any group, when people become real kind of just caught into their groups, it's just a cult mentality. They're just a cult. Whether they, and I'm not saying this about Shaykh Yaqoobi, I'm saying just in general, whether they're Salafi, whether they're Sufi, whether they're whatever. So in life, I believe it's it's important to try to always see through your biases. So even the same thing with a lot of Sufi kind of followers is that their sheikh will become the ultimate. And the problem can be sometimes when that sheikh isn't somebody who's resonating the voice of, he's not kind of echoing the voice of reason. But the good thing about Shaykh Yaqoobi, from what I'm seeing, and I haven't been up to date with a lot of his things, but from what I have seen, I like his kind of angle on promoting reason. And I listened to recently a refutation of his he attended a conference recently just in the Middle East, just over a week ago. And he did a refutation on an Egyptian philosopher, Hassan Hanafi, who has nothing to do with the Hanafi madhab. He's just called Hanafi, Dr. Hassan Hanafi. And I actually liked very much what Shaykh Yaqoobi said. So inshallah, big up. And I hope he does continue to promote the voice of reason, inshallah. The issue is big oil companies are invading the native lands to build pipelines that may contaminate water, destroying their Muslims. Should we join the protest? Yes, I mean, if that happens to be in your locality, in your vicinity, then Muslims should be at the forefront. I say this in a way that, you know, many of us sometimes slack due to our daily distractions, but if we can, we ought to be at the forefront in the fight against any injustice. Okay. We ought to be as passionate we ought to be as passionately opposed to injustices as we are to fellow Muslims who we disagree with. That's how we ought to be. I have work soon. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Abs. Right, are you implying that we don't have work? Is there anything specific you need to pray do when you buy a new house? Yeah, just hope you haven't been scammed and you haven't been ripped off and the whole thing. No, nothing. You can, inshallah, just be grateful to Allah. Who are trustworthy Maliki scholars in the Chicago area of the US? As-Sujud al-Maliki. Right. I mean, I don't know, in the Chicago. Oh, right. Isn't Ustad Ubaidullah, who I just met up with last week, I'm sure he said he was based in Chicago. I believe also Dr. Umar Farooq Abdullah is also based in or around or close to, I think he's based in Chicago. See, I'm not sometimes too clued up on where the American scholars are based. I just that they occur to me. These are, you know, good people to inshallah stay in touch with. In America, you have got a certain number of Malikis, but I think they're more based around the Bay Area, California. It just sounds so cool, doesn't it, California? Right. So, is it okay to consider Buddha, Krishna, and Confucius as potential prophets? Allah. You see, I think there's a distinction in saying let's consider them to be prophets, as in we declare them as prophets. And I think there's a distinction between doing that and between saying, well, Allahu A'lam, maybe they were prophets in essence. So Krishna in the Shri Krishna ji of the Vedas. He was traditionally, traditionally he was referred to Krishna, which means dark. I believe it meant dark, and he was dark. And in the old Vedas, he was referred to as a scholar. Okay, then I think I could be wrong, but by the time it reaches the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita and things like this, I believe by that time he has been deified and he's become a god. But prior to that, I think in the old Vedas, he is considered as a scholar. Allahu A'lam. So you can see some kind of transition taking place. So it's not, maybe these people were prophets. Now, that's one thing to say that. The other is to say, no, I believe they were certainly prophets. I mean, I can't say that. I know Allah sent many prophets. He says, وَرُسُلًا لَمْ نَقْصُصْهُمْ عَلَيْكَ, and they were messengers we didn't even tell you about. So they may be from them. Abu Layth, go out and search for candies, even better than that, than what you do now. Ooh, Nabizada Abu Layth. Alright, that's Mufti Abu Layth to you. Oh, count. Alright, you get that. Go out and search for candies. Look at the cheek of these people. When's the Dajjal coming? Do you think WWE? Do you think WWE is imminent, like the wrestling? Do I think World War III is imminent? No, I do not think World War III is imminent. I hope, inshallah, it's not imminent at all. And I hope we as a human civilization can rise above such world, catastrophic world wars. I mean, Sheikh Hamza Makbul is Maliki and is in Chicago. Awesome, shukran. There you go, like that. Right, Khadija, shukran for that input. Right. Sheikh Hamza Makbul, I've met him, he's come here, graced my house with his presence. Yeah, definitely somebody to, inshallah, benefit from and learn from. Someone asks about a sin which you have repented from. Do you expose the sin or lie? Which is the lesser of two evils? Right, so I don't know what the context to that is, Osama. I don't know, like, you see, the thing is, sometimes you might tell people things to get it off your chest or to make amends or to rectify a situation. Like, so for example, somebody's blaming somebody else for something and you come along and say, you know what, I just want to say that I know you guys don't realize because I'm such a slick burglar or a thief, but that was actually me that stole that thing. Right, so, and you might save somebody from going through some difficulty, do you understand? So sometimes there's no harm in doing things like that. In fact, I think it may be the noble thing to do. Sometimes it would be the worst possible thing you could do. Like if you've been up to some hanky-panky somewhere and then you decide to, I want to get it off my chest. I'm going to go and confess to that person so-and-so. Now, these kind of things would just be catastrophic because they would just end bad in every single possible scenario. There is no good, outcome to that. Merman, do you know Shaykh Khalid Yasin? What do you think about him? I don't know Shaykh Khalid Yasin. I've seen some of his, very few of his lectures. Very few. I don't know really. I couldn't possibly comment. Hassan Gamble, alright. I've seen quite a few of your Facebook posts. How you doing? Alaikum salam. When is it possible to delay Salah? I believe delaying between the two combinatorial. Allah, do you like the words, people? Combinatorial. The two those two salahs that may be combined, like Dhuhr and Asr and Maghrib and Isha. Delaying between these two, so delaying Dhuhr till Asr time, having some kind of a reason for it is fine. Ashhab, the legend of the Maliki madhab, said it could even be done for, as long as it wasn't a habit, it could be done for the slightest of needs, including if somebody had to go out, he has, he's in a lecture, or he has to go out, or he has to do a certain type of shopping, or he has to do that. He did allow combining the prayers. He said as long as it didn't become a habit for the most simplest of excuses. So it was still an excuse, but it was very it wasn't life-threatening or even devastating or shocking or even so paramount really. Shireen, wassalamu alaikum. Make dua, find a pious wife. Okay, need one from London. Okay, right, well, I'm not sure I can help you there, but yes, Allah. Are steroids halal if you're well, I don't think they're sting operation, Safar. This is a sting operation going on. Right, are steroids... steroids are more an issue of legality as opposed to an issue of hurma and tahleel. Allah, what am I saying there? What am I saying? I'm not going to comment anymore. Can Muslims eat kosher? Yes, they can. Brother, which wax do you use? What, on my hair? I just pick it up from my local hairdressers. So I just this time I picked up a different one. I'm not sure what they're called actually. I just pick up these tubs. Ali El Turco. Alright, sounds quite Spanish. Hablas español. Right, forex trading is halal, trust me. Jimmy is saying it. That's Pirzada Saab giving it the... Is Halloween haram? I don't believe Halloween is haram. I believe it's Halaloween. It's halal. Who do you want to impress with the books behind you? I want to impress you, Zaka. I want to impress Zaka Ma. Please be impressed. Please be impressed. Please be impressed. Right, well... Right, so you have books behind you, I have books in front of me. Allahu Akbar, Narai Takbir. Those of you that remember the debate. Anyway, moving on. Alright, some people believe that you should not sleep in the front row of the masjid because jinn are there and they will cause you to... Is that true? Are there any hadith that say this? I think sleeping in the masjid is weird, and definitely you shouldn't sleep in the rows. I don't think because of a jinn. I think that's a bit silly. I think it's just because it doesn't befit a masjid. When you're KO'd, I mean, everybody sleeps differently. Some people could be snoring their heads off. Some people could be kind of rolling all over the place. Some people could... I mean, anything could happen. Think about it, huh? What could happen whilst you're sleeping? Do you really want to be found in that position in the front row? You could be waking up to some heavenly glory, and you don't want to be sharing that on the front row whilst everybody's got you on Snapchat. So keep that in mind. That's the real reason you don't want to be sleeping in the... You know, if you do fall asleep, maybe at the side, at the back somewhere. Mufti Sahab, what do you say in regards to those who go off the view that Halloween is haram based on... Do you know... I was saying I'm glad you asked this question, because look, the thing is, you know, it's... People have quoted this وَمَنْ تَشَبَّهَ بِقَوْمٍ hadith for way too long, and they've gone unquestioned, which is unacceptable really, because the hadith, when you look at it, right, in its entirety, and I had somebody today, oh, there's my Jan Layla going to sleep. Sorry. Soja. So the thing is, now, the thing is that, look, somebody quoted this today. They tried to write some refutation against me, saying, oh my God, Abu Layth, you know, when they hate me, they will never use the word Mufti. Abu Layth said that Imam Sakhawi didn't even declare this hadith to be authentic. Oh, well, look at this. And he comes out with all these acrobatic kind of movements to show that Sakhawi said this was Hasan li ghayrihi. Well, Hasan li ghayrihi is still not Sahih. Okay, so when authentic is Sahih. So, I mean... Hello, but even then, I want to come back to, I seriously challenge these brothers, all of these people, all women, right? I've even called them brothers, and I don't do that. I don't like this rhetoric of brother and sister, but I'll even call them, I challenge all these Molvis and Molanas and these religious kind of control freaks to teach, to embrace the full hadith, that full hadith. Don't be deceptive. Don't use this snippet of the hadith. The hadith has 4 sentences to it. It's one incident, one hadith. Quote all of the hadith. God damn it. Let me tell you what the hadith is. Okay, the hadith says, the Prophet ﷺ in this hadith, if you accept this hadith to be sahih, he says that bu'ithtu bis-sayfi, حَتَّى يُعْبَدَ اللَّهِ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ. I have been sent with a sword to butcher people, to kill them until Allah is worshipped and none other than Him, with no partners. وَجُعِلَ رِزْقِي تَحْتَ ظِلِّ رُمَحِي. And my rizq, my provision, my food has been written in the shade, under the shade, placed under the shade of my spear. Meaning that through warfare, we will tear through the grounds, waging war against the people, and through that we will take their possessions and become, that is our rizq. Right, that's the second sentence of the hadith. Then the third sentence, the Prophet allegedly said, وَكُتِبَ الذُّلُّ وَالصَّغَارُ عَلَى مَنْ خَالَفَ أَمْرِي. And any who dispute my affair, destined for them, what has been written for them is humiliation and subordination. That they will be subdued and they will be humiliated, any who dispute my affair, the Prophet allegedly said. And then he said, the final sentence, وَمَنْ تَشَبَّهَ بِقَوْمٍ فَهُوَ مِنْهُمْ. And if you resemble the people, then you are amongst them. Now quote, stand on your mimbars and read this hadith. Why the double standards? Why do you reject 3/4 of the hadith? You either refuse to read it, you refuse to teach it, you don't even accept it. You say, oh no, I don't accept the front part. I don't accept that the Prophet came to kill people until the... I don't accept that. That can't be literal. Oh, it must have been for a particular war incident. Oh, it must have been for this. Oh, the hadith ain't sahih. Oh, this... But when it comes to the final part, you want to superimpose that upon the entire Muslim global community. So I ask you, be consistent, people. Consistency. So that's my response to these zealots, okay, these religious... I do refer to some of these control freaks sometimes as religiotards, but not... I don't want to kind of be debasing here. So these zealots, that's my challenge to them. Embrace this hadith. Be consistent in your argument. Don't be deceptive. Don't be sly. That's my princess. Right, Layla. Assalamu alaikum. ठीक है अभी आप पापा अभी काम कर रहे हैं आप जाओ ठीक है. All right. So the thing is now. So I just wanted to highlight that, okay? So I want you guys to be aware of these kind of, when people get a bit crafty, like they don't, you know, they're going to cover up 3/4 of a hadith and just show 1/4. Show it all. Be honest. You know, put your money where your mouth is. Okay. The idea about the imported meat issue in KSA, right? Hagahudi, I'm not sure. I mean, what the issue of the import is, that where they're saying it's halal, but we're not too sure or something. And what's up with the hadith that you say you can only revolt if the leader declares outright kuffar? You see, the problem with hadiths to do with revolt, I don't think the hadith speaks about revolt. I think the hadith is more speaking about, can you withdraw your allegiance? These hadith are talking about a different world, by the way. And the issue is that whenever the uprisings, insurgencies, the problem is it is a fitna, isn't it? But I mean, sometimes freedom is also something worth fighting for. Not sometimes, it's always worth fighting for. The issue is that it's the poor victims who suffer in the middle. You know, may Allah make things easy for all our human brethren out there, our human family in places like Syria, in places like Yemen, in places like Iraq, Afghanistan, in all of these places, Burma, where they continue to suffer, really. But especially in the former places where I've mentioned, where the people are kind of revolting and you know, there's a revolution, but it's come at, I mean, it hasn't been successful yet, but it's come at such a price. May Allah make